Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us. We're very excited to be here with you today. And my name is Tanya Riney. I am with IntelliBoard, and we are being hosted today by e-creators. We have Shay and Prathiba kind of sitting in the background to be able to answer your questions. Shay and Prathiba would have talked to you today, but they ran into some technical difficulties of a very interesting nature, and maybe if you can convince them to type it into chat, they'll tell you the story. But anyway, let's cover some kind of, thanks Shay, cover some background or some items here. I want you to all feel very comfortable to type anything that you need to into the chat and or the question and answer. I'll do the best I can, or Shay can help answer any questions as we move along. We will also be providing, I am recording, and I believe Shay might be also recording this session so that you'll get a recorded session as well. And we also want you to know that for attending this webinar, anyone who attends, it's a typical 50-day free, or pardon me, 15-day free trial for IntelliBoard, but let us know that you've attended the webinar, and we're very, very happy to give you a 30-day free trial. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at IntelliBoard. Now, we have gone into our demo site. Actually, I'll go there again just so that we can kind of start from the beginning. This is a publicly available demo site, demo.intelliboard.net, and I'm going to jump right over into the Moodle-based LMS. Now, unfortunately, we've only got 30 minutes today, and we are going to really focus on the admin, or what we call the super admin view of IntelliBoard. However, I want to strongly encourage you, when you have the time and the desire, to check out the instructor and student views available through IntelliBoard. The instructors and the students actually view their own metrics, monitors, reports inside of the Moodle system. The super admin has more power and control through app.intelliboard.net, and that's where we're going to head to right now. Our first landing page is our Moodle site. This is the IntelliBoard Moodle demo site. We have very lovely, if not very poorly paid interns who create data on the site so that your experience inside of our demo site is rich and fulfilled. So we're going to hop on over to, I always can't find it when I have to cheat here. Let's see. There we go. Oh, it didn't expand for me. See? There we go. They changed my my icon. So now we're at IntelliBoard Analytics. We actually did an SSO click-through from our Moodle site, and this is what the super admin would actually see. So our goal here today is to talk about how IntelliBoard works and to answer any questions, hopefully, that you have about the IntelliBoard platform. So we've got a lot going on here. So to get started, one of the things that you'll see immediately with IntelliBoard from a how to use standpoint is that when you take your mouse and you hover over any one of the monitors, or frequently the tables as well, you're going to see additional data sets or data points. So we can see the number of sessions. We can see that here. We don't have a whole lot of course completions in our Moodle site, and that's because obviously we have ongoing enrollment, so we don't really have folks complete in a fake data set, but sometimes it occurs. And then if I move over to the aggregate site visits by day and hour, you'll see if I hover again, we get even more data. So Wednesday at 12 p.m., there were 2,700 clicks or page visits inside of our Moodle system. And this is our week-long view. And as we move down the page, you'll see the annual or yearly view of this. So I'm going to scroll on down, and that's exactly where we're headed. You can see July 2nd week, we had 96 sessions. And in February, week 4, we had 93 sessions. So this is really great to be able to see. If we kind of take a look at this particular heat map here, we have multiple institutions who use this particular view to be able to staff their help desk, for instance. So they find that this usage data is very, very helpful to be able to see what's going on in their system. One of the other features that I love is our users map. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of zoom in, and I'm going to move over, and we can see when I hover, we can see the users as they are populated inside of the system. I particularly like this because it helps out. I am American, and I feel like it's a very American trait to be geographically ignorant. And unfortunately, I fall into that. And so we have the world here, and I can cheat by hovering, and it tells me which country it is. We, in our demo site, have a number of different course enrollment types, but admittedly, our pie chart isn't super sexy. Hopefully your pie chart might be a little bit more sexy, or possibly even more plain, depending on how you actually enroll folks. So I'm going to zoom back up to the top, and we're going to focus on the left-hand nav menu where you can see my mouse moving back and forth here. We are going to spend a little time in the nav menu, again, to get you comfortable and familiar if you want to go into the demo site yourself, or if you install the plugin or have any creators install the plugin for you, and then want to play around with data on your own Moodle site. And oh my gosh, I just cannot recommend it enough. To be able to look at your own data is incredible, and it never gets old for us. And I love it. So when folks load the plugin and we get to train with them, or we get to give them a demo on their own data, it never ceases to be absolutely incredible to view their data when they screen share it with us. So it's super cool. And again, it just never gets old. So we see here that we have monitors, and monitors in IntelliBoard speak are anything that is kind of a graphical display of data. So this one right here, this user enrollment, we would call this a monitor. Aggregate site visits by day and hour, we would call that a monitor as well. So a graphical display of data. So we've got a number of different collections of these monitor sets, and we'll jump on to the performance monitor set because it does happen to be one of my favorite monitor sets. I love, love, love it. So we can see the HTTP requests, and back in another lifetime, I was an instructional designer, and I'm a reformed college professor. So because of that, I'm really interested in the points of where learning is occurring. So I love the fact that we can see inside of here how the different pieces, how the different items or plugins are actually being utilized in the site. And we don't have many plugins being used in our system, but you can clearly see that we have Big Blue Button if you're familiar with that plugin. We also have Poodle. It's not getting a lot of activity in our site, however, but we also have Poodle as well. But any kind of plugin that you are using inside of your Moodle system would ultimately appear inside of the HTTP requests. Moodle mobile logins versus web logins. Again, we have aggregate site visits by day and hour. Then we come on down here to browser statistics. And what's been really, really interesting for me, especially for browser statistics, is to be able to see, especially in real sets of data, how different access points are getting more popular. And clearly, handhelds, iPads, anything like that are getting significant use and continue to increase as we go through, ending this decade and moving on to the next one. So that's been really, really cool to watch and witness. We also have a set of engagement tools, and we have learners and courses as well from a monitor standpoint to get snapshots. One of the coolest features about the monitors, though, is the ability to create your own monitor set. So we're going to jump in and create a monitor set of our own. I'm going to call this one R2D2. And I can hover and I can get details, but I know that I have some favorites in here that I'm going to grab. Active courses, I love this one. Most visited courses, this one's really hot too. And browser statistics just because. And, well, I don't know, maybe HTTP requests. And the only reason why I'm going to grab this one as well is so that you can experience the fact that this this creation of this monitor set is responsive, as you saw. Then I can also even expand or decrease the size of this monitor if I choose to do so. Folks using Big Blue Button, you'll see we have a ton of monitors on the right here for Big Blue Button support, which folks who are using Big Blue Button have been very, very, very excited about. So that's fantastic. I'm going to click Save. And you'll see that our sets, our monitor set has populated, and we've got now in the nav menu the R2D2 monitor set that we just created. What I love about most visited courses is because it actually, at a glance, gives you an immediate identity of things that are happening in the site, right? We look at that compliance course at the top. That compliance course is clearly getting a lot of action, right? And we could look at that compliance course and say, okay, what's happening in this course that we could potentially look at from an appreciative inquiry standpoint and then replicate that inside of our other courses. So it really provides even HR protocol, right? What's going on in there that makes that course so engaging, right? What is happening in there? And then we can also look at courses like we've got lower ones, Biology 252, further down that list, music, pharmacology, any one of those are clearly not getting much traction at all, but maybe that's appropriate given the nature of the course, right? If it's a lab course or if we know if it's exclusively face-to-face, music probably doesn't use a lot of online interaction, or maybe it does. But the point there is that you can quickly see what's happening and then be able to address it. One of the reasons why I love most visited courses. I'm going to jump down. We can see we have bookmarks. So activity stats summary is currently bookmarked, and we go through that. But most of our folks actually use bookmarks and make their most commonly used reports inside of this area so that they can navigate to them very, very quickly. I'm going to expand the reports menu. We have 4 categories of reports with a lot of stuff in subcategories underneath them. So before I jump into reports, I'm going to open these. So under user reports, we've got all users by instructor role, by learner role. You'll see I can expand the all users menu. I'll increase this just a hair so you can read these. And we got a lot going on here. Items that would be interesting for you, I anticipate, and please, by all means, kind of make a mental note of it. Check it out on the demo site at your will. We obviously won't be able to go through all 130 reports because we don't have 5 hours and you would probably die. So we're just going to take a look at 1 or 2, and you can feel free to check out the other ones at your leisure. So items that you're probably going to find very interesting are inactive users and courses, the IntelliBoard time tracking table. Worthwhile to mention really quickly about the IntelliBoard time tracking table. As you know, the users can go into the Moodle site, and like I'm your user, right? I can go into Moodle and I can go into a course, and then I can open up another tab and I can watch Star Wars for 2 hours, and I have 2 hours on site according to the Moodle time tracking. IntelliBoard, as the plugin, actually pings your learner every 30 seconds, and it hangs out about 60 seconds waiting for evidence of engagement in the background. And if it doesn't get it, it shuts the clock off. So it's a really, really about as accurate as you can get indicator of engagement and how students are interacting with the content and or courses on your site. So it's quite lovely, and we'll take a look at a report that uses that. Other items, user engagement, login, logouts, site summary detail, and site summary. Open up instructor role. These are not reports for instructors. These are reports on instructor behavior. Folks in our higher ed institutions worldwide are really, really into these reports. So they are there for you, and folks really love them. Items here would be instructor activity engagement detail, forum engagement, and then also the ratio, instructor engagement ratio. By learner role, we have 3 here, but primarily they're tucked here because they're 3 of the most commonly used reports worldwide. And we're going to come back to learner success and progress, which I always get painfully teased about because I always go to learner success and progress because it is my #1 favorite. All course usage, got a lot going on in here too. Course access details, course content utilization, which is going to provide you a lot of detail about the kinds of things that you're using, the activities that you're using in the site. Course inactivity, of course, is huge. Course stat summary with learner details, another really, really popular one. And then in the engaged and non-engaged totals by course, and then with course details. Course grades, of course, needs grading report. Most folks typically push that to the instructor dashboard. The super admin decides what of these 130 reports, some odd reports, get pushed into the instructor dashboard. We clearly don't recommend that you push all 130 to the instructor dashboard because instructors might riot. But a handful of them, maybe between 5 and 10, are very, very useful for instructors, and they find them invaluable. And needs grading is, of course, one of those. Course outcomes, if you're using them, I'm not going to worry about that right now. And enrollment at revenue, course enrollments with completion overview is also a really hot one. Activity reports, you can see we've got all activities here, so this is going to give you everything. And then we also have subcategories broken out by activity type. One of the ones, if we get to it today, that I also love is quiz overview and question detail. That's another really nice one and provides a lot of really great information about assessments and testing that your instructors or people who are creating your assessments are really going to get into, plus a lot of this other stuff too. So I am going to, we've got a lot of other information here, wiki survey score if you need that, as well as some extras that we probably will not get to in our time together today. So I do want to jump into a report, and as I said, I was going to jump right to learner success and progress. So learner success and progress, this is our report. Now I can tell just by looking at it, we are heavily filtered here. So whoever was inside of the system, inside of our demo site before us, has definitely filtered the data. That was probably just a few minutes ago. I can see that we're only looking at A's. We are currently looking at the solar system course, so the certifications. Right, I can expand this and I can expand marketing analytics, and I can see that we're looking at the solar system course. Why the solar system course is in marketing analytics, I have no idea. That's a question for a different day. I am going to select all. And I'm going to click OK. And when I do, the report runs again. So now I see that we don't have all A's. We have a number of different grade varieties going on. And let's move across this particular screen to see some of the things that we've got going on. The progress bar, the legend for the progress bar is at the bottom of the screen. The light gray represents where the student is. The dark gray bar represents the goal grade, if you happen to have set a goal grade for that course, and the dashed line is the course average. Makes sense since we are looking strictly at the accounting course right here. So of course that should line up. And then we have all these grades, we have completed activities, the score as it's being reflected inside of the Moodle gradebook, completion if it has happened, because you can see incomplete here, the total number of visits or clicks, and the total amount of time spent. A great, great report. Folks use this both for at-risk learners as well as high achievers. I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's say we're going to take a look at our at-risk learners. And one of the reasons why I like this is because institutionally, you get to make the decision of what an at-risk learner actually is, right? We're not making that decision for you. And in many cases, especially in the United States, we even have multiple institutions that define at-risk learners very differently. So community colleges in the United States have 2 programs in particular, nursing and cosmetology. Those programs typically nationwide have a minimum of a B or a B minus. So that indicates failing for them. So those institutions each need to have a wide variety of different values to be able to identify an at-risk learner. So definitely one of the things I really love. Once you run this report, I would imagine that you probably need others to be able to see it. So you have this option. You can, of course, export that data if you would like to, or you can share it. We can email it to somebody, SFTP, schedule, bookmark, or share it via API. We are going to jump to schedule because this allows us to interact with our conditional events and notification dashboard, which we call send. So I'll just drop in my email, and I do want all courses. I want to know what's going on with everybody. And in interest of time, I'm going to select all grades. And I do not want to filter by custom user profile field, but if you are using custom user profile fields, holy cow, you'll be so excited because you will be able to filter to your heart's content about any number of different things that are going on in your Moodle system. It's fantastic. I want all completion statuses, and then this opens up the interface for the notification that you want to create. So the report date filter, I'm going to set it for all time. Don't want to change the subject line. I do want it to be active. Folks who are in higher ed probably want to expire. However, if you're in a corporate environment, most of our folks don't expire these notifications. For our purposes, I'm going to expire mine tomorrow. Otherwise, I will totally forget that I have it, and then I'm going to get notifications all the time. And I do it all the time. If you're sending this or scheduling this to somebody you don't like, you can send it to them hourly and be very passive aggressive in your dislike, or you can schedule it monthly, of course, bi-weekly, weekly, or whatever it is that you want. If you are sending a report daily or hourly, you can, of course, schedule it at a specific time, date, whatever, and I'll just say 16, and then send an empty report. If you filtered it, right, like if you want to know your at-risk learners, I would always encourage you to send an empty report, because if no one satisfies your parameters for what you've put into the report, then the report will be sent empty and you know it still works. And yay, no one is failing. That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. You can save it. And then once you do, you're taken to the conditional event notification and dashboard with scheduled reports. So we can create a conditional event. I want to show you those really quickly. It's a similar interface, and we won't go through the whole thing, but I want to show you these. So the notification type, these are if-thens, right? If this happens, do this. If this happens, do that. So the ones that I like, and you can schedule all of these if you want, but you can do learner site inactivity, instructor site inactivity. Learners spent less than X amount of time on their activities, or less amount than X amount of time in a course, or responsive form. There's so many in here, and we'd love to hear about the ones that you personally want to request from us. So that's that for send. So those are typically how the reports actually work. But in those 130, if we don't have what you're looking for, then jump on over here to build with Max. So we're going to create a report, and we'll name it Ruler of the Universe. I have no idea why that's in there. I'm going to make it active, and we'll filter by user's course role. And so I want user first name, user last name, and you can see as I'm clicking and building this, right, it's actually building right along with me. So I want user visits, and I want user time spent, and what else do I want? I guess I want like company, because that's a custom user profile field. So I want to see that. I want to see the custom user profile field there. And maybe user number of completed courses. I want that too. So we can see, and then these items are triggered based on the other kinds of data that we have put and we've chosen. So they pivot around each other. But once we have our table completed, then I can use, or I can view the visualization in any way I want, right? So the user last name is not available here on this, but I can, of course, toggle it on if I want to, and I can view it like this, or I can view it like that, or it can be like that. And we can just play all day long with this. And I love the spider. It's just weird. And I don't know what you're necessarily going to gain with that, but if you like it, it's there for you. So that is Max. I'm not going to save this one. And we are going to now jump over to the nav menu again and talk about organizational roles. So we briefly mentioned that if you pull a report, right, there are going to be some folks who likely want to see it. You can create organizational roles inside of the system that mirror the roles inside of your organization. They don't map to Moodle roles. These are organizational roles. So if you have people like academic success advisors, or supervisor or manager, you can create those roles for them and limit their views in terms of the reports, the users, the categories, the courses. It's limitless. Custom user profile fields, whatever it is that you want. Now, you can't do that on our demo site because we do have it locked down, and you'll see that here, right? So it will not permanently save, but it will on your demo or your free trial. You'll be able to play around with that. And then once you've created organizational roles, we can create sub-accounts. And we've got Patricia Peters here. So we just assign Patricia Peters with the particular organizational role that we want her to have. And then we save it. Now down here, one of the things that I want to show you is that the monitor sets that we have are also available for these. I want to pick the organizational role actually. Let me pick, I should have taken the, oh, I didn't select a connection. That was very silly of me. There we go. And R2D2 is available, and this is what I wanted to show you. So these monitor sets that you create, the one that we created at the beginning of our call together, is now available here for anyone that you want to have access to it. So folks, I'm coming in under the wire. I've got 1 minute left of our 30, and I can't thank you enough for attending our session today. We're looking so forward to be able to answer any other questions you have. I'm going to type my email into the chat box so that you can reach me. And of course, our folks at eCreators can also answer any questions that you have. And we hope you contact them as well. Again, we'll follow up with all of our registrants and send the recording so you can reference it. We do hope you stop by the demo site, and we can't wait to talk with you. Thanks so much, everyone, and y'all have a great day.